door was broken down. The task force entered in silence. But this was no ordinary raid. It was the first step in toppling a seemingly untouchable criminal empire. Warrington, a small peaceful town in Cheshire, England, has long been off the crime map. But who would have thought that this seemingly peaceful place is the headquarters of one of the most dangerous criminal networks in England? Twin brothers Leon and Anthony Cullen secretly built their own empire, not just as drug lords, but as the leaders of a professional armed organization. Under their control, dozens of loyal men, armed to the teeth, transported cocaine, heroin, and heavy weapons to major cities such as Liverpool, Manchester, and the Midlands. How could such a large-scale operation have gone undetected for so many years? What made the Cullen brothers such a high-profile target for the national police? Their case has not only shaken the north of England, but has also been described as a heavenly blow to the world of organized crime, opening a new phase in the fierce battle against transnational criminal gangs in the UK. Leon Cullen, 33, was the head of the criminal organization. He was responsible for importing drugs, distributing guns, and running the entire network remotely via the encrypted communication system EncroChat. After being arrested, Leon fled to Dubai but continued to run the operation from there, demonstrating the level of control and organization he had established. Anthony Cullen, Leon's twin brother, served as second in command. Anthony directly supervised drug shipments, collected money, and handled threats with force. While Leon remained hidden, Anthony made sure everything on the ground ran smoothly and left no trace. Below them are more than 20 close associates, forming a tight-knit criminal network. Each plays a role, from transporting and hiding drugs and weapons, to guarding, collecting, and laundering money. No one acts alone. Everything is clearly divided, like a well-oiled and efficient machine. For years, Leon and Anthony Cullen had built up an image of themselves as successful businessmen in the heart of Warrington. They regularly appeared in the limelight, driving new supercars, living in luxury mansions, wearing Rolex watches worth tens of thousands of pounds, frequenting fancy restaurants, and socializing with the wealthy. Their lavish lifestyle not only helped them build a false reputation in the community, but also gradually erased any suspicions under their perfect cover. But behind the facade was a highly organized and dangerous criminal empire. The Cullen brothers were responsible for huge drug shipments, moving cocaine and heroin in bulk from international transit points into the UK, then distributing it across major cities such as Liverpool, Manchester, and the Midlands. Not only stopping at drugs, they also directly direct assaults, threats, warning shots, or purges of rivals. Anyone who dares to fight for territory, devalue goods, or destabilize the system is quickly dealt with to maintain order in the network. The entire system was run through EncroChat, an encrypted messaging platform that was once considered an impregnable fortress for criminals. Messages sent were encrypted, had no history, and could be automatically deleted after a few seconds, allowing the Cullen brothers to transact, command, and control the organization remotely without leaving any obvious traces. It was this technology, along with a clear hierarchy within the network, that allowed them to operate smoothly for years, under the indifferent gaze of the community and the confusion of the authorities, until EncroChat was hacked and the entire facade collapsed. From 2016 to 2019, the criminal network led by brothers Leon and Anthony Cullen operated strongly in the northwest of England. They controlled much of the drug market in Warrington, spreading to major cities such as Liverpool, Manchester, and the Midlands. During this period, the Cullen brothers organization was considered one of the most dangerous armed drug trafficking gangs in the UK. Local police have recorded a series of violent incidents related to turf disputes. Assaults, shootings, threats with weapons, all aimed at maintaining the Cullen gang's dominance in the criminal world. Throughout 2018, authorities made several small arrests, seizing drugs, assault rifles, grenades, and cash. However, lower-level links often did not report information, making it difficult to track down the mastermind of the network. Leon Cullen was issued a national arrest warrant in December 2018 after a series of evidence suggested he was a senior executive behind the drug supply chain. During this time, he quickly fled the UK, first fleeing to the Netherlands before settling in Dubai. Meanwhile, Anthony Cullen continued to run the operation in the UK. In 2019, the organization continued to expand with cross-border shipping routes and connections to criminal groups in Europe. All instructions were transmitted via EncroChat, a communication tool that the organization trusted absolutely because of its high encryption. However, the EncroChat system itself became a critical weakness. In late 2019, European police began an operation to penetrate the system and decrypt the data. By early 2020, when the information was decrypted and the true identities of the operators were revealed, a nationwide crackdown was launched, the beginning of the complete collapse of the Cullen gang. In early 2020, after European police forces coordinated with cybersecurity experts to successfully penetrate the EncroChat system, millions of messages were decrypted, including data directly related to Leon and Anthony Cullen's drug ring. Shortly thereafter, the UK National Crime Agency, NCA, in collaboration with local police across the UK, launched a crackdown campaign called Operation Samurai, one of the largest ever carried out to dismantle an armed criminal organization. In January 2020, dozens of reconnaissance teams were deployed simultaneously at dawn, attacking more than 20 suspected locations across the northwest of England. Armed units, sniffer dogs, and specialized door-breaking equipment were mobilized to ensure speed and absolute surprise. More than 20 members of the network were arrested on the spot, along with large quantities of drugs, weapons, and cash. Anthony Cullen, the second in command, was arrested in the UK at a high-security house in the Warrington area. At the same time, Leon Cullen, the head of the organization, had managed to flee the UK, but was closely tracked through transactions and communications. After nearly a year of international investigation, the police discovered that he was hiding in Dubai, using a fake identity and living in a luxury hotel. In January 2020, with the cooperation of the UAE police, Leon Cullen was arrested at the hotel before he could escape. After being detained and completing legal procedures, he was extradited to the UK in May 2021. Images of him handcuffed and escorted by special forces at Heathrow Airport quickly appeared in newspapers and on television news, marking the complete collapse of one of the most notorious criminal empires in the UK. After their arrest, both Leon Cullen and Anthony Cullen were detained for investigation. However, during the interrogation, the two brothers refused to cooperate with the police and did not give any detailed statements. According to court records, both Leon and Anthony remained absolutely silent, refusing to answer questions, neither confirming nor denying the contents of the interrogation. They refused to provide information about their networks, associates, transportation routes, or drug sources. This is a common tactic in organized crime organizations to avoid revealing more evidence or weakening the prosecutor's case. Despite the failure of the two key suspects to cooperate, investigators were able to collect a large amount of digital evidence from the EncroChat system, including messages, accounts, chat histories, and transaction lists. That clearly demonstrated Leon Cullen's role as an operator and the direct connection between the orders and the actual consequences that occurred on the scene. In addition, many subordinate suspects arrested in Operation Samurai confessed honestly, providing more details about the organization's activities the specific roles of each person, as well as confirming that the contents of the decoded messages were completely accurate. Using a combination of digital data and witness testimony, prosecutors were able to build a comprehensive case, despite no cooperation from the two ringleaders. This is considered a major success in the legal battle against criminal organizations that operate using encrypted communication systems. During the trial, which followed a lengthy investigation, prosecutors described the Cullen brothers' network as a professionally organized, hierarchical criminal organization that was willing to use force, real weapons, and advanced encryption technology to maintain control and evade justice. The court not only relied on the allegations, but also considered a series of specific evidence, including encrypted messages from EncroChat, testimonies from accomplices, physical evidence seized during Operation Samurai, and assets that could not be proven to have legal origins. At the end of the trial, Leon Cullen, who was identified as the leader, operating remotely, was sentenced to 22 years and 6 months in prison. Anthony Cullen, who directly directed and maintained local armed activities, was sentenced to 27 years in prison. The remaining members of the organization, including more than 20 people, were sentenced to a total of more than 180 years in prison, depending on the level of participation and specific roles in the network. Evidence seized during the investigation included nearly 30 kilograms of various drugs, 6 pistols and rifles, hundreds of bullets, about 300,000 pounds in cash, and many luxury assets such as sports cars, Rolex watches, and villas in the UK and abroad. This sentence is considered a strong blow to the activities of criminal organizations that use high technology to conceal illegal activities, and is also a testament to the ability of international coordination in the fight against organized crime. The Cullen brothers case not only exposed a large-scale drug and arms trafficking network, but also showed the dangerous level of hidden organizations in modern society. Under the guise of successful businessmen, they ran an entire underground empire using encryption technology, force, and money, seemingly impossible to detect. However, through perseverance, international coordination, and reverse engineering, the authorities uncovered the entire system, brought the leaders to light, and completely ended a criminal empire that no one dared to touch. So how many similar organizations still exist undetected? Are we living next to real businessmen or just fronts for criminals? The Cullen case is a reminder that nowhere is truly safe if we assume that crime exists only in the shadows.